This is the Barry Richards Show. WBSM On Demand.
App.
Without further ado,
WBSM presents The Barry Richards Show. Streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Text us using App Chat on the WBSM app. Now, The Barry Richards Show.
And welcome back to the program. It is 2:08 now on a Thursday afternoon, 508-996-0500. Rain is falling heavily in New York, just as it is here on the Neck in Fairhaven. President Trump is at the funeral home right now for the wake of Officer Diller, who was gunned down earlier this week on Monday, I believe it was, leaving behind a wife and a one-year-old child. There is a suspect in custody, somebody named Rivera. I don't know anything about him or his background at this point. If I learn more about him, I'll let you know. But so Trump is in the funeral home as we speak, and Joe Biden and Barack Obama are both in New York, as is Bill Clinton. But none of them will be attending this wake today, which I think is absolutely disgraceful. But that's my view on that. You may have your own view. Joe Biden has a fundraiser tonight at New York City's Radio City Music Hall. And that's where Obama and Clinton will be. The fundraiser expected to bring in $25 million. And the event has different tiers of access, depending upon donors' generosity. The centerpiece is an onstage conversation with the three presidents, moderated by late-night talk show host Stephen Colbert. There's also a lineup of musical performers, including Queen Latifah, Lizzo, Ben Platt, Cynthia Erivo, and Leah Michelle. That will be hosted by actress Mindy Kaling. Thousands are expected. Tickets are as low as $225. More money gets donors more intimate time. A photo with all three presidents is worth a $100,000 ticket. A donation of $250,000, that's $250,000, earns donors access to one reception, and $500,000 gets them into an even more exclusive gathering. But the party doesn't stop there. According to the campaign, First Lady Jill Biden and DJ D Nice are hosting an after party at Radio City Music Hall with 500 guests tonight. So certainly that's a better place for Joe Biden right now. He said, well, actually, Biden's schedule is clear today. He's got nothing on the schedule. He's been in New York for at least an hour, maybe more than that now, and his schedule is clear. And I guess the press were asking Jean-Pierre, why is the schedule clear? What's he doing today? And she wouldn't answer. Said that's up to the campaign to tell you that, because this is a campaign event in New York. So you mean to tell me that hours and hours before the campaign event tonight, that not Joe Biden, not Bill Clinton, not Barack Obama, none of them, not one of them could make a trip over to the funeral for this police officer? I don't know. 508-996-0500 is the number. Thanks for hanging on. You're up next on WBSM.
Hello, Barry. I just wanted to say thanks for picking up. Just give me 1 second. I just want you to know that I did do some research on what we talked about a little bit earlier, and this is from Politico. 1 year ago, President Donald Trump took the White House briefing room and encouraged his top health officials to study injection of bleach into the human body as a means of fighting COVID. This is from Politico.
I just played you the tape.
All right. So I guess my point is to you is that Politico is. I see a lot of your callers that get information off Politico and Breitbart.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
So,
all right, yeah.
they're
Politico
not-
is
they're
a
not-
Politico is a leaning news source. Yeah.
All right. So I guess my point to you is that, I guess no matter what you say, you're going to believe one thing, somebody's going to believe another. But when people call you and tell you these things, it's not because, they're just batshit crazy.
Yeah, but I actually sat there and read 6 times the transcript of what Trump said that day. And it's not long. It's only 2 minutes worth of statement there.
Oh.
I read it 6 times, and the gentleman still said, no, I heard it with my own ears, that he said,
I know.
insert Clorox.
I know one thing. I watched a lot of them. It's been a while now, but the problem with that whole COVID thing with Donald Trump. First of all, I think that's where people lost faith in him when it came to the COVID. All he had to say was, "Hey, I got my top people on this. We're gonna figure this all out. I'm there for you. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor." They used to look at him when he was talking like he was crazy.
Well, wait a minute. Instead of saying what? What are you talking about? Because
He
you know
tried
what? I watched every single word that Donald Trump said during that time. I had to for my job, but I was also a captive audience too. We were all stuck in the house. So every single press conference he had on this, I watched it every single day at 3:00, and I heard Donald Trump say that every day. I heard him come out and say, I'm not a doctor, but this is what the doctors are telling me to do, and so on and so forth. I even heard him disagree with some of that stuff when it came to closing the economy. And he said, no, we can't. We got to open the economy. I urge the governors to open the economy. So I don't recall Donald Trump coming out and saying, I'm a doctor, go out and do this. In fact, in that statement that you're referring to from that day, he says in there that you before you do any kind of treatment, you talk to your doctors.
Well, don't you think that a lot of what happened during the COVID, the public lost faith in Donald Trump and the way he handled it?
I don't think so, and I don't see why they would. What? Give me something specific.
Donald Trump, in my opinion.
No, can you give me? Wait a minute, hold on, because now you're peddling. You told me that the public. Wait a minute, hold on. You told me that the public, and in your mind, I guess, with good cause, lost faith in Donald Trump during COVID. But you won't tell me why. What did Donald Trump say that caused people to lose faith?
I think that Donald Trump, during that period, tried to steal the show from the doctors because you could see it right on their face.
Yeah, but hold on, because now you're spinning. You go from peddling to spinning. That's not what I asked you. Wait a minute. You made a statement. Hold on. You made a statement that people lost a lot of confidence in in Trump's leadership, and you say that was justifiable based on the things that he said. And I'm asking you to tell me, what did he say specifically that caused you to lose faith?
I mean, Barry, I don't have a transcript right in front of me to read what he said on a daily basis.
Well, you know what? If the president of the United States during a crisis said something to cause me to lose faith, I would know what he said. I wouldn't need a transcript. I'd be able to know. That's why when that gentleman first raised this point, I knew immediately that he was wrong because I remembered that. I remembered it. I watched it.
But he's not wrong.
What?
I mean, you read a transcript. I read you some literature that I read.
No, you read a report from Politico. I played you Donald Trump's. I read the transcript 6 times, and I played you the tape of what Trump said. So you read something in Politico. I played you Trump's words right on tape. Did you hear it when I played it?
Yeah, we argued about it. But, Barry, just because you're pro-Trump.
No, that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. What it has to do with is the truth, my friend. What is truthful and what is not truthful. Now, I've had multiple callers call today who swore they heard Donald Trump with their own ears say inject Clorox, which he didn't do.
Right.
Okay, I played the tape. He didn't say that. You gave me a quote from Politico, and I played the tape. He doesn't say that on the tape, but yet you still don't believe it.
Politico's just making it up, right?
I played you the tape.
What did I read to you?
Wait a minute, hold on. I played you the tape. There's nothing like that in that tape. You heard the tape. I played it with you heard it with your own ears. I just played it. But you're going to believe what Politico says as opposed to what I just played you on the tape.
No. I didn't hear a tape. I heard what you said.
All right, tell you what. You sit still right there. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to play the tape for you again right now. It only runs about 2 minutes, and then I want to get your comment on it, okay? Would you do that for me?
Oh,
all right, stay right there. I'm going to play this for you. It takes about 2 minutes. You can hear it with your own ears, and then you tell me if Donald Trump says inject yourself with chlorine here. So here it is. Let me make sure I got it all set. Okay, here it is.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
We'll get the right folks who could.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
All right, now where in there did you hear Donald Trump say inject yourself with Clorox?
I did not hear him say that.
Oh, but Politico said he said it.
It says in the briefing room.
But hold on, wait a minute, sir. Sir, please, with all due respect, sir, I just played you a 49-second clip, and you're disbelieving what you just heard with your own ears, and you're referring back to what Politico said in a story. Why don't you believe what your own ears tell you?
I believe what I just heard. Of course I do. Come on, I'm not crazy.
Okay.
Right?
But you keep going back to Politico and saying, well, Politico said in the briefing room. Well, you just heard in the briefing room. Right there, you heard it.
Well,
so that says to me that Politico is not telling you the truth, right?
And if you're comparing both of them, yeah, you're right.
Bingo. So now if Politico is lying about that and misleading you about that, why aren't they lying about other stuff and misleading other stuff?
Well,
because Trump didn't say that. Trump didn't say that at all. Now, if you are watching the video, and I'm telling you, if you go into YouTube, right? Just go into YouTube. Do me a favor, humor me. Just go into YouTube and type in Trump Clorox comment, and it comes up immediately. And the whole comment, which you just heard, is 49 seconds long, okay? Now, you can see that Trump just came out of a meeting with all of his top doctors. They're standing off to his right. He's at the podium looking at the press, and he's looking at the doctors and saying, wow, you just told me a couple of minutes ago, you just told me about this new research with light and maybe ultraviolet light and maybe some kind of a thing that you can pump into you, and this is stuff that you're researching now, right? And the doctors say, yep, you can hear the doctors off to the side. And Trump's saying, great. He said, with medical doctors, and he said, this all sounds very interesting to me. So you can hear it and see it for yourself.
Barry, when I find it, I will certainly let you know, and just please listen when I call, okay?
Well, I don't even understand you. I don't know what else to say to you, my friend. I just don't know what to say. I'm listening. I am listening. And there is a derangement there. Somebody that says, but Politico said, he said, I just played the tape for you. You heard Donald Trump in his own words, his own voice. You heard it there. Oh, but Politico said this. Wow. This is frightening stuff. And this transcends whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump. I mean, I just showed you right there where the media lied and misled people. I just showed it to you. Even if you hate Trump's guts, even if you puke at the sight of him, you got to say, hey, gee, I was taken in on that, because that's not what Trump said, and I just heard it with my own ears. And if you still doubt it after hearing it with your own ears and say, yeah, but Politico said, and I don't know what to say to you. I mean, you are beyond help at this point. 508-996-0500. Thanks for hanging on. You're next to WBSM.
Hey, Barry. That's what we call rubism. If that previous caller, if you're listening, I'm going to explain both to you. What Trump was talking about was chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, which is used to protect people from malaria, specifically if you're in India or parts of Africa where the water could be could be littered with it. That's one. The infrared light thing is something a study that was taking place in a college in Colorado where they would use forms of infrared light and would basically insert the tube into the body, and it would kill bacteria and viruses. That's what Trump was talking about. And you're right. The media spun the lie and with the drink the fish water and all this other stuff. And that guy is the perfect example and an indictment of the public school system because he clearly doesn't think for himself.
I don't know what you say to people when they say to you, well, the press reported this, and then you play the actual tape. And then they still say, yeah, but the press said this. You know, Trump will use the word disinfectant. Now, I'm not sure where that word came from. He just came out of a briefing. And if you watch the video, you can see him looking off to his right, conversing with the doctors over there. And he used the word disinfectant. He said, I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute. Now, he was told that by these doctors. And he also said, this is something that you haven't tried yet, but it's something that you're looking at because this is a particularly nasty thing. It gets in your lungs, and the disinfectant can get into your system and kill the virus. Sounds promising, is what he said to a panicked nation in April of 2020.
Yeah, and this is proof of how much the media is corrupt in this country. I can show you a clip of Micah and Joe in the morning on MSNBC in 2013 praising Donald Trump. Such a great guy. And now you fast forward to 2024 and he's Hitler. I mean, the media is so corrupt and so full of lies, it's not even funny.
But what's worse than that, though, what's worse than that is when you show somebody that they have been hoodwinked by the media, you play the tape and they still won't believe it.
Well, what you just did right now, Barry, is you disrupted his programming. So his programming emergency system kicks in and he goes into a full panic. I'm surprised he didn't call you a racist because that's how these people operate. These people are so pathetic. I feel bad for them. They don't research. They don't do their own research. They sit there and they believe when someone like Politico or a media outlet tells them that this. They never really research it because, like I said, it basically blows their mind. They can't believe, well, how can the media lie to me? Well, of course they lie to you. They've been doing it for 8 years. I mean, God, wake up. You know, it's pathetic. It is. And you should be awarded the badge of courage to have to pick up that phone and hit these people every day and listen to these people sprout what that guy just said. That guy's hilarious. He should be in front of me. He should be in a comedy club. He's full of crap.
Well, I mean, it's really frustrating that first of all, people, you know, it's like the very good, very fine people and all Mexicans are rapists and murderers and this kind of thing. When this comes out and, you know, you realize that you're fighting. I swore I was never going to fight with these people again because you can't convince them. And I don't know why I'm even going through this. Somebody brought it up in the first hour, totally derailed my entire show. I had all kinds of stuff here to talk about today. And this is taken over, which is fine. But, you know, I swore I wasn't going to do this anymore because you can't convince people that they're wrong. So, you know, this guy, 2 people, I heard it with my own ears. Okay, well, I'm going to find the tape and play it for you. Play the tape and you still won't accept the fact that what you heard with your own ears is the truth and that you've been hoodwinked. How do you save somebody like that?
It's tough. You have to deprogram them. I mean, just go to any college in America right now, and you will hear the wildest crap you're ever going to hear and the lies. And I'll give you an example. I'll tell you what the problem is. Go to see these kids who go to these town hall meetings or these little get-togethers where these conservative speakers show up or these truth tellers, and look at these kids and look how far their phone is attached to their head. Because these kids don't think anymore. They're programmed. And the phone's part of the programming because Google controls these kids. They don't think for themselves anymore. They do what they're told. And I'll give you a perfect example. Kyle Rittenhouse was doing a tour of colleges all across the country. So he shows up at this college in Tennessee yesterday. And who shows up? Black Lives Matter. Are you kidding me? Kyle Rittenhouse, fortunately, self-defense killed 2 guys. One of them with a gun. The other one was a sex offender. Both were white. So why is BLM there? Because BLM tells these fools to go show up and scream racism. Because that's how this works. These kids are and these people are so good. The gaslighted and programmed to the point now where they can't think of themselves
anymore. But what is
moved.
frightening about all of this is kids I get. I was a kid. We were all, you know, hey, hey, ho, ho when you're a kid and everything else. But then you get smart, you grow up, and you pay taxes and have families, and you pay a little bit more attention, and you understand. These are grown-ups. These are seniors. These are people who should know better. They should know, the art of reasoning and logical thinking that gets you through life and gets you to being a senior and gets you, and you still, you're going to refuse to believe what you just heard with your own ears because you are being driven by hate and you are being manipulated by the media. But yet you're not going to question what you hear. And it just absolutely blows me away. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your call very much. I've got to take a break one more time. Here's DJ T with the real story.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
Get the right folks who could.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. The new headline is Trump asks people to go outside. That's dangerous. Here we go. Same old group.
Same old group. We're back after We're back after this. Stay tuned.
Send her your love with a dozen roses. Make sure that she knows it with a flower from your heart.
All right, welcome back to the program. It is 2:33 now on a Thursday afternoon. Raining heavily. It's raining heavily in New York right now, too. President Trump has just left the funeral home for the funeral of that New York City police officer who was gunned down last week. Actually, it was earlier this week. It was on Monday. And sad. I mean, totally sad. Officer Jonathan Diller leaves behind a wife and a 1-year-old child. And what a beautiful family. I'm just looking at a picture right now. Trump is now standing outside addressing the assembled media with quite an entourage of police behind him. And it just breaks your heart, doesn't it? And, okay, we're going to take another call or two here. 508-996-0500 is the number. You are next in WBSM. Thanks for hanging on.
Hey, Barry, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I got a question. Now, I was running some errands today, so I was off and on the radio. Mm-hmm. Now, the first guy that called up that started this whole thing about Trump and the chlorine and all that.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a time, though, that Trump had taken some kind of medicine, and then a few days later, some idiotic couple took something like with the same name or a different derivation of it that was used to clean out fish tanks? The husband died. The wife got deathly ill from it. Is this what this idiot is talking about when he first brought it up?
No, I mean, it just came up out of the blue. I mean, I was talking about energy. I was talking about the fact, which I thought is a much more important and productive topic than rehashing something from 4 years ago that never happened. But right. We were talking about energy and the fact that you just had a solar panel farm in East Texas that was destroyed by hailstones. And, so on and so forth. But he just brought it up out of the blue and said, politicians drive him crazy. And one of the stupidest things he ever heard was when Donald Trump during the COVID crisis said people should inject Clorox. And I called him on it. I said, that's disproven. It never happened. I watched that press conference that day. I read the transcript 6 or 7 times now on the air today, played the tape, I don't know how many times, and a couple of people are still insisting that he said it. So I just don't know what more to do. I don't know about I think the fish thing, too. I think that was another one of those little media folklores, too. So. Right,
that's what I thought. I thought maybe that's what it triggered him off initially on it, because I remember that coming on them saying, do not take this stuff. Yeah. I had never heard Trump saying, inject it in your body and all that either. But I was saying maybe that's what this, because some people get twisted in what they remember, what they think is actual.
Well, the
fact.
last gentleman that called in was saying that he has an article in front of him. I read the same article, by the way, before he even called in. Because I do my research. I don't just come out here and talk about stuff. I do my research. I read the same exact article before he called in from Politico, which talks about how Trump was in the Oval Office and, suggested that people inject. That's not what he said at all. And again, I found the transcript. I read it at least 6 times, maybe 7 times, and then I played the tape. I don't know how many times, so that people can hear it with their own ears. You know what? People need to understand that they're being duped by the media, and they need to, rather than take it out on Trump or even take it out on me. I don't care if you take it out on me all day long, but I mean, well, I heard the tape, but Politico said this, and you know what I mean? You admit you've been duped by the media and say, okay, maybe I've misjudged this entire situation for the last 8 years.
No, I know what you're saying. People fall into this all the time. I don't understand why. Nobody uses
But when you
their
prove it
common-
wrong, when I play the tape and the guy's still saying, yeah, but Politico said, you know what I mean? It's like there's no willingness whatsoever to admit that you've been duped.
My buddies are sitting here were saying, he just played the tape multiple times. If you don't understand English, then that's your fault. I don't understand these people.
Well, again, it's a 49-second piece of tape, and you can hear exactly what Trump says. You don't need Politico to tell. See, this is why I don't watch the media. And I tell everybody, shut the damn cable TV off. Don't watch the news. You don't need that stuff. You get enough of it from your cell phone. You get enough of it from, from listening to this program and everything else. I tell you what's going on. So, don't pay attention to that crap. Oh, I just heard it. 49 seconds long. I just heard it. But the media told me this. I don't know what to say anymore.
Barry, I've just about given up on some people. All right, then, brother. I just wanted to ask you if that might have been, because I tried to figure what triggered this guy off.
Just came out of the blue.
Probably didn't understand. Yeah,
just came out of the blue, and I get angry with him because I told him, look, if I said it didn't happen, I watched every single one of those press briefings during COVID when Trump would come out with Blix and little Fauci. I got off the air at 3, so I was in front of my TV at home watching it, and I watched it every single day. And I saw that, and I have a very vivid memory of it because the media did go nuts, and they lied about it and said Trump said inject Clorox. And I said, no, he didn't. I just watched the damn thing. He didn't say anything like that. And
I can remember back at the time, my wife and I said, no, I heard it the 7th. He did not say that. There's no way he said that.
No, absolutely not.
I'll
Nothing even close. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. 508-996-0500 is the number. Thank you for hanging on. You're next in WBSM.
Hey, Barry, Don up in Stoughton.
Hey, Don.
You've had an interesting day today.
Yeah. I didn't expect to be fighting back up on this hill, but
welcome to my world, Barry. You know how many people tell me I'm stupid?
Yeah.
But never in the history of mankind, Barry, has so much factual information been so readily available on the internet that people choose not to educate themselves, and the gap is growing wider. People are getting stupider and stupider, yet the information is right there for them to learn,
the unfortunate part about it, Don, too, is that, so maybe the gentleman a couple of minutes ago that called in about the Politico article, okay, so he's listening to the debate. He says, well, I'm going to go do a search, and I'm going to go online. So immediately what's going to pop up is Politico, The Hill.
Right.
Exactly. MSNBC. So you open an article and you read it. You've got to click next page, probably 4 times before you get to a reliable media source that's going to tell you the truth.
Correct. You're only going to see the ones that Google or whatever server provides you what their AI says should you be able to read. I see this so many times when I'm looking up stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, and it's frustrating.
It's crazy.
Well, that's why you always go to the tape, like they say in sports. Let's go to the tape. So you go to the tape. The tape, like you pointed out, there's never been so much information available as there is today on the internet. Just go to the tape. Type in, go to YouTube. Type it in, and boom, the tape pops right up there.
Now, they do use a diluted solution of bleach to treat open wounds. It's called Dakin solution. It kills the bacteria. Years ago, they used hydrogen peroxide to treat everything from sore throats to polio and everything in between. And yes, they sometimes do vaporize disinfectants into the lungs to help clear the bacteria of viruses that have been captured in the upper part of the lung.
But when you
So,
talk
yes,
about
they do
disinfectants, you're not talking about taking a bottle of Clorox and adding
Correct.
water to it and swallowing it. That's not what you're talking
Correct.
about. Disinfectant is, it's a very broad term. And again, Trump just literally came out of a meeting with all of these doctors. They walk
Yeah.
in front of the cameras, and he's saying, "Hey, these guys just told me all this back in the other room, right? About ultraviolet light, right? You said that, and you said that we haven't
Correct.
tested it yet, but you're working on it, right? And they're all shaking their head. And about disinfectant, you can get into the body, and right, yep. And he says, well, but leave it to the doctors. That's exactly how he concluded.
Absolutely correct. I mean, I was watching C-SPAN this morning quickly, and this is the month of the woman, and a black woman from Alabama, 89 years old, called in and berated Trump because Trump went down to the border and separated families, took the children away from the parents, and put them in cages. And the woman did not understand it was Obama that did that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who the child belongs to.
Right. Yeah, because the
yes,
law
you have
says
to
you
separate them.
cannot release a child without the parent or the guardian. You can't just do that. And Obama
Right,
did
and the
that.
cartel was giving children to adults to take across the border for sex trafficking.
Yes.
And this woman, this 89-year-old woman from Alabama, could not understand that.
Yeah. No, it was the Obama administration that did. Actually, it started with Bush. And and the Obama administration threw it in high gear. And it was the Trump administration that ended the practice.
Correct.
Because they
But not
ended.
according to this woman.
Yeah, the Trump administration ended it by implementing Remain in Mexico and by ending catch and release. So it was the Trump administration that got rid of the cages. It was Obama that made it a standard practice.
Because he opened the borders and overwhelmed it. And remember, too, Barry, the young children that Obama let in that had polio-like disease, they were shutting down the schools here in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Because kids were getting paralyzed. But we forgot all about that, didn't we?
Yeah, forget about that because the media didn't tell us that part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we remember
Okay.
AOC
And
with all
measles.
the media going in tow. Remember AOC, and she goes down to supposedly at the border, right? And she's standing outside of this chain link fence, and she's crying. And she's
Yeah.
supposed to be, remember that? She's supposed to be looking at the kids in cages. And all of the media shot the video from an angle from the opposite direction. So you couldn't see any cages in the video. But some honest reporters pulled back, and you could see that she was talking to just an empty parking lot. There was nothing there.
Yeah, no, this is incredible, but it's just so sad. Welcome to my world, Barry. I mean, I'm told I'm stupid so many times, I just have to let it go.
You know what? I don't care. You call me stupid all day long. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not going to win you over, and I'm not trying to. But when I play you evidence to show that somebody is duping you, and you still insist that what you just heard was wrong, that Politico got it right, and then the tape with his own voice on it is wrong. Somehow that's wrong. It's got to be wrong because Politico said it was wrong. That's crazy.
I do recall a reporter yelling out, I don't know if it was to Trump or to somebody, well, did President Trump say that you should be injected with bleach or Clorox? I can still see him. He's pointing with his right hand, and he's trying to get an answer. And that's what I think the media took off on.
Yeah.
Is this reporter said, bleach and Trump and injection.
Unbelievable. Thank you, Don. I got to hold you. 508-996-0500. Quick break. We'll come right back after this. Stay. Welcome back. It is 2:48. They were called Honeycomb, and that song is Stick Up Highway Robbery. It's a felony, right? Heartbreak in the First Degree. Love that song. Good dance music from back then in the 1970s. If you will indulge me for a couple of moments, there are a couple of things that I really wanted to get out today, and while I have a chance to do so, let me get a couple of things out. We kind of get sidetracked on something really dumb, retaking a hill that I thought we had taken a long time ago. And we had to go and clear the enemies out of there, the media, the enemy of the people. So there were about a dozen protesters at the State House yesterday, and they were calling for the state to end its right to shelter law. About a dozen protesters. See, the problem is a lot of folks have to work during the week, so you don't have time to go to the State House when you're working and do these protests. But about a dozen people were able to break free and get out there. The other side, they could pump hundreds of people out at a moment's notice. Anyway, about a dozen people get out there yesterday protesting the right to shelter law. And the shelter system state is expected to spend $2 billion on this shelter system for illegal immigrants through next fiscal year. The protesters held signs reading Healy Hotel Hell and End Mass Sanctuary Incentives. Lawmakers woke, taxpayers broke. And about half of the residents of the emergency assistance shelter system are new immigrants to Massachusetts. They're illegal immigrants, and we're giving them all our money. And we're running into some serious financial problems as a result of that. The protesters argued that the shelter system was totally overrunning our state budget and that ending the state's right to shelter law would slow the wave of new arrivals. Makes sense, but the administration doesn't want that. The other tape I played for you many times the other day was Maura Healey from 2019 when she was Massachusetts Attorney General. And she was in, while Donald Trump was at the border saying, remain in Mexico and no more catch and release and let's build a wall. Maura Healey was in Tijuana. And she was telling people how to get into the country and how to get to Massachusetts when they got here. And she was filing lawsuit after lawsuit in order to prevent Trump from doing what he needed to do to... See, these are the true stories. I tell you the truth. And I just, if you don't believe me, I mean, I've got that tape too. Let's give a listen to that. It's right here.
I'm here at the border in Tijuana. I'm with the organization El Otro Lado, with whom we've worked on a lot of our litigation and advocacy. I'm here to see firsthand some of the abuses of the Trump administration. It's incredibly sad, it's incredibly heart-wrenching, and it is absolutely un-American. And, you know, I'm glad I'm having this experience. I'm here with many of my AG colleagues, and I think we're all really profoundly moved and struck by the injustice, and also really moved by the spirit of the lawyers who are on the ground, who are working. We need more lawyers from America on the ground here helping. And also I've met a lot of people, including a woman from Greenfield, Massachusetts, who's down here volunteering and helping these folks who find themselves in really unimaginable circumstances. So I'm really glad to be here and really glad to be able to carry back to Massachusetts the experiences and the stories and what I've learned.
So anybody who thinks that Maura Healey just, kind of inherited this problem, that this is something that landed in her lap, is not the truth. You just heard it there with your own ears. Now dispute that one too, right? That's Maura Healey in 2019. And you heard her right at the beginning saying, I'm here down at the border in Tijuana, going on to explain the atrocities and the brutal policies of the Trump administration, and essentially saying we're here telling people what their rights are in the United States and in Massachusetts. You heard it there. By the way, Maura Healey's got a plan in case the legislature can't come up with a funding source to get that $2 billion to run the illegal immigrant shelters here in Massachusetts. And that plan means tapping into rainy day accounts, draining them dry, $707 million that she can spend on the broader humanitarian response. It's money that would come from a rainy day account. She gets to raid this, and we don't get to say anything about it. I mean, this is absurd. This is absurd. And again, you hear it there with your own ears. Oh, no, this is Donald Trump's fault. What's happening on the border is Trump's fault, right? That's the new line. Oh, it's Trump's fault. You listen to any Democrat, oh, it's Trump's fault because of the borders. No, Trump was building a wall. Trump enacted Remain in Mexico. Trump did away with catch and release. On day one, Joe Biden signed executive orders reversing all of that. And Maura Healey in 2019 on the other side of the border in Tijuana, as she says, inviting everybody in. So if your taxes are outrageous and you don't like what's going on here in Massachusetts with this shelter for everybody situation and your money being spent this way, it's Maura Healey's fault. She's been working on this for years. 508-996-0500. Quick break. We'll come in. Welcome back into the program. It is time to wrap it up for today. You know, the interesting thing about this job is you just never know where the show is going to go when you start. You know, you get up in the morning and you start your planning and you start reading and you start downloading and highlighting and getting everything ready to go and everything else. And then you come on the air and something happens. And maybe it's just a phone call or maybe it's a story that breaks or whatever. And you go off in a totally different direction than you ever expected to. And that's the fun part. And even though sometimes it can be frustrating, it is always fun because at the same time, as a result of that call in the first hour with the misinformation about Trump and injecting Clorox, hopefully I was able to educate some folks today, you and me. We were able to educate some folks today, and maybe some folks who really thought that was true learned today by not only hearing me read the transcript of what Trump actually said, but listening to the tape with your own ears. Maybe